All right, let's do this shit. Howdy, I'm James Victore, and this is The Right Questions. And I've got some information for you. I've got some information directly for you. You know, a couple of years ago when I wrote FEC Perfection, my book, my best-selling book, there was a central piece of it. And it says, the things that made you weird as a kid make you great today. And that resonated with a lot of you, probably all of you. And it still continues to resonate with people. Which made me go searching, made me go think, made me want to find out more about this idea about being weird. And how weirdness, our innate weirdness, whether we choose to use it, or whether we've chosen to hold on to it, whether we choose to see ourselves as weird or not, how important that is to us. Many of us call ourselves weird, and we're not really allowing it in our lives. So I want to bring up the right question and ask, how weird are you? And do you know the implications and the importance of that weirdness in your life? Because I believe our weird makes us strong. I believe our weirdness makes us creative. And I believe our weirdness makes us us. Now, I am choosing a hard line here, but I'm basing this all. To get my point across, I am basing this all on some context, some history, and some background. And I'm going to share it with you here. I think this is fascinating stuff. So I'm going to go through it with you right now. And this was a little piece that I've started writing. And it's called In the Beginning Was the Wyrd. And it goes like this. Before weird, there was weird. Meaning, before the word that we understand as weird, which is W-E-I-R-D, was the word weird, W-Y-R-D. Weird is the ancestor of the more modern word, which before it meant odd or unusual in the derogatory sense that we carry it now, it had connotations of the supernatural. And even more, it had implications of the creative. In the Oxford English Dictionary, the Anglo-Saxon version of the word weird, W-Y-R-D, means the principal power or agency by which events are predetermined, or fate or destiny. It is a feminine Old English noun from the verb meaning to become. And this is all important. And for the Norse and Scandinavians and other Germanic people, fate was the main force that determined the course of events to become. And weird was the identity of the universal intelligence behind creation. In these early cultures, this supreme power was given to the Norns, N-O-R-N, the Norns, and they were represented by three beautiful sisters named Wyrd, Verdandi, and Skuld, and they were the goddesses of fate. And they lived underneath the Yggdrasil tree, or the Norse version of the tree of life. This was their view of the visualization of the cosmos, their idea of how the universe was created and what it looked like. And it's an ash tree in which all of the worlds, including the worlds of the humans and the worlds of the gods, nestled among its branches and roots. And these three goddesses were present at every child's birth, where they were said to spin the threads of life and weave the tapestry of fate for us all. So these three goddesses, these sisters, decided each person's destiny. So your destiny is predetermined, and your fate is given to you. And all you need to do is line up with it. And like a raft over a river, it will float you through life. Wyrd is your safety net. And that is allowing your weirdness to guide you. And that's why you only feel good when you are lined up with your destiny, doing what's right for you. Right? You only feel the flow, that's what we call it when we're really doing something, when it's really working out and groovy for us, when you're in line with your gifts, creating from your heart. That's why anything less than living our destiny feels ill-fitting or small or not ours. Have you ever had that feeling, where you're not in the right place? For example, that's why once we learn all the tools of design and like the busyness of design, it becomes less interesting because it's so myopic, so less fulfilling. We're like, hey, I got these great skills and these tools, but I'm stuck in an office watching the grid. I distinctly remember when that happened for me, when I really kind of turned the volume down on working for commercial clients, because I was like, hey, wait a minute, I'm capable of more. I've got the skills. I get it now. I know the rules and I know how to break them, and I can't do this anymore because it feels so small. And that's why not following your destiny, your purpose, or your reason for being here is so frustrating. I hear this story all the time. I hear people say, I grew up creative. I went to a creative college. I took a job at a quote-unquote creative agency. So why do I drive home at night crying? I hear these stories. And the truth is that it's because we know in our hearts what our destiny is and what our purpose is, and we are not living that. Right? As we know, the most common form of despair is not being who you are. It means you're not aligned with your fate. You're not aligned with your weirdness. And that is why we choke on that truth, too, because it's hard to confront the fact that we find ourselves lost. So a little later than the Norns comes the epic poem Beowulf. I don't know if you've studied this in college, but it's written around somewhere between the 8th and 11th century. That's like literally saying it was written in the year 1000. But in Beowulf, the anonymous poet observed this. They wrote, Wyrd, or fate, often saves an undoomed hero as long as his courage is good. Let me repeat that. Wyrd often saves an undoomed hero as long as his courage is good. This means accept your fate, your Wyrd, and line up courageously with it, and it will save you. It also means if you bring in doubt and confusion, you split your energies. You see, you're no longer the cause of your life, but are the victim of it and its effect on you. And then you're doomed to living a life less authentic. Right now, you're thinking, oh man, I wish James Victore could be my mentor, my guru. Hell, I wish he was my coach. Well, you can make that happen. Go to yourworkisagift.com. There's a questionnaire that will probably help you out, but it'll also give you access to a free call. So let's talk. Let's free you from overwhelm and creative frustration. Let's build your business and help you get paid to do what you love. Again, go to yourworkisagift.com. Let's talk. Full of bullshit jobs and creative frustration. Because you're working against what you were born with. You're working against your weirdness. Whatever the opposite of the things that made you weird as a kid make you great today, right? So here's a funny example, an apt example. Take Luke Skywalker. Yes, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I am also a humanity fan. That's why we love this story so much. So Luke had to purposefully line up with the universal intelligence and allow it to flow through him so he could be Luke. Right? The reason we love him and Star Wars, and quite frankly, any epic poem like Beowulf or story, is that he, the main character, is us. We are him. We see ourselves. We identify ourselves in his struggle to follow his destiny. So just like Luke Skywalker, after his caretaker's death, right, his aunt and uncle have to die first, then he is freed to leave the farm and follow his weird and true purpose. It's like he literally unstuck the cork on the bottle and his destiny flowed. So after Beowulf, for the next 400 to 600 years, the word weird meant following your destiny. That's what you were doing. You were following your destiny. Until, check this out, until Shakespeare came along and screwed everything up for us. So check this out. Around the year 1606, Shakespeare borrowed the word from the Scottish. He borrowed the word to name his 3 witches in his Scottish play Macbeth. And now, here's an interesting thing to note. No longer were the Norns 3 beautiful goddesses, but 3 ugly witches. But just like the Norns, the witches too determined Macbeth's fate through prophecy. I don't know if you've watched the play or read the play or seen a movie version. When the 3 witches meet Macbeth, the first witch addresses him as Thane of Glamis, which is his current role or title. The second witch addresses him as Thane of Cawdor, which he would become like in the next scene, right? And the third witch addresses him as King Hereafter. So they're addressing him as what he is and what he will become, which of course sets Macbeth on this crazy course to kill the current king so he can be the king, right? But what this means for us is our modern use of the word weird no longer means a force that determines the course of events. You understand that? So wasn't that cool? Wouldn't that be awesome if someone called you weird? And it meant you were a force to determine the future? You were a force that determined the course of events? Man, you're really weird. Ha I know. Thanks. No. Now it has its direct roots in the frightening demeanor of these three ugly witches. Now it means odd, strange, or disturbingly different. Today, we associate weird, W-E-I-R-D, with anything outside of our current understanding or our limited imagination. It's something to be held at a distance. If it comes out of nowhere or isn't pleasant, it's weird. Right? You go in the kitchen and go, man, something smells weird. The witches and the Norns wield great power. They were masters of co-creation, life force, energy, and deliberate manifestation. They knew how to line up with the universal intelligence to affect reality, right? They would prophesy your reality. But listen, no one is fated to stacking bricks or serving coffee for a living. No one's destiny is to work as a mid-manager. No one's purpose is to work at a creative position that does not allow creativity. So when you own up to your inherent power as a creator, you learn to open up to your weird, the things that set you apart and the things that make you you, and you will not allow those other existences. This is conscious creation, right? This is when you create your reality. Because as we know, if you are not consciously creating your reality with your thoughts, with your actions, then you are unconsciously creating your reality. And you're just stepping into the next position, whether you know it or not. And you're unconsciously following the herd, following trends, following what your parents think you're supposed to do, and not your destiny. And that leads to trouble, right? That leads to things like business as usual, or it leads to doing what you're told, or leads to the feelings that you're a victim of circumstance. Why am I here? What is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Right? It's because we're unconsciously living. I told you I was going to choose a hard line here, didn't I? So weird has these connotations of the supernatural. And I think that's a perfect word because it is super. It's super in terms of higher. It's super in terms of otherworldly, but it's also natural, completely natural, given by nature. In the bigger truth, this is our most natural existence. It's when we become the cause of our lives and not the effect, right? That's when we become the cause of our lives. We are causing everything around us. And then we are flowing with the stream of universal intelligence. That's always around us, right? And when we align our weirdness and take control of our fate, then the future is not yet written. And you, my dear friends, get to write it. I'm James Victore. This is the right questions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this. Please write me, send your questions in. We want to hear from you. We want to help you. That's our purpose. That is our purpose here. We love you, and I'll talk to you later.